Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hello, ma. Good evening, ma.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good to have all of you here. Welcome to today's session. So, as much as possible, we're going to try and be very short. Thank you very much. So, I see the YouTube feedback. Let me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Sorry for keeping you. I wanted us to have a few more people in. So I'm just going to go straight to it.
Yes, we can.
Okay, can we see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. So I'm just going to go on to the discussion. So we're here to talk about top stocks in 2024. I'd like to welcome all of you, Manuela, Joseph, Grace, Mrs. Larry Leke. Thank you so much for joining, and every other person that is here. I can't see you right now. So top stocks for okay, so today this is what we're going to cover. We're going to look at the stock market. I know that when we started the Q&A session, by the way, this came out of the Q&A session when people were asking questions about stocks, and I just wanted to cover it in details, even though we can't really go full into details still. But I'm going to try and do a bit of justice so that you can make informed decision as regards investing in this area. The next webinar we're going to have is going to be on the real estate investment trust. We're going to cover in details what it is about. It's a stock market investment. So we're going to drill down to that particular investment. So that will be the next webinar for April. We plan to do this every month. I'm sure initially when you registered, you got notification via the community platform. That's what we're supposed to use, but you know how technology can be very funny. We were trying to troubleshoot almost 2 hours before the webinar, and we still couldn't figure it out. So the technical person is working on it. So I just thought, okay, let's just do Zoom today. So we will cover this topic in details. So the stock market, I'm sure we've all heard about the stock market, is very easy to understand. This is how it works. It's like a marketplace. You call it stock exchange, they call it capital markets. It's the same thing. So when you hear stock market, stock exchange, capital markets, it is the same thing. Now, what does it do for us? It's just a marketplace. Imagine it, just picture the market. You want to buy okra, you want to buy gari, you want to buy tomatoes. you go to a place called markets where you can find all these things together, right? So you can go to Maraba Market, for example, and you can find a lot of things, fruits, from food to fruits to even things like chisel to hammer, all those things. You go to a market and you find all of those things. That's exactly what the stock exchange is for stocks. Now, what do? Companies always need money from time to time. So now they can, I'm sure you've heard about crowdfunding. People, maybe some of you have even crowdfunded a business for somebody you know. The person just comes online and says, this business is very viable. I'm going to pay you 30% per month. And then you just jump at it and everybody starts to put in money. That's exactly that's just a miniature of what happens on the stock market. It's just that the stock market is regulated. So the federal government of the country handles and manages the stock market. Why? Because they need to ensure something in the economic system. So they are not just going to allow any company to just go to people and take money. Yet these companies need to take money. So the stock market is like the go-between. They structured things up and said, you know what? We will ensure that the market is very safe for people to invest their money. Even though it can be a volatile market, the stock market, by the way, is high risk, in case you're not aware, but it is well managed in such a way that, and I'm going to show you examples of how viable it can be to put your money in the stock market over the long term. So it's just a marketplace. You want to buy the stock of Zenith. Zenith always needs money, right? GTCO, they always need money. Bois Cement, they always need money. Dangote, MTN, recently we had Transcorp Power come on board. These companies will always need money, from a lot of money actually. And so they're going to need you and I. They're going to need you and I to fund them. So how do we get involved? It's through the stock market. I'm sure we got that. So I can move on to the next thing. Please, if you have questions, you can use the Q&A tag, and then we'll take those questions afterwards. So what are the benefits of stocks? Because when you go on the stock market, what you're buying is stocks. So it can be the stock of Zenith, it can be the stock of Moneywise, it can be the stock of when we get listed, it can be the stock of Affluence when Affluence gets listed, it can be the stock of any company at all. What do you gain? Why should you go through the stock market? Why don't you just give your money to Etoyin Alasi, who is not on the stock market, and then she just promises you something, and then it never happens. Number one is diversification. Remember the marketplace. You have all options. Even when you want to buy Gary in the market, right? There are several people selling Gary that gives you enough competitive edge to negotiate. If your price is not good for me, I'll go somewhere else. That's what the stock market is. Diversification. You have the stock of banks, you have the stock of medical industries, you have the stock of food industries, the CFGs, you have the stock of all sorts of companies, tech companies, all sorts of companies are listed. So you have options. You don't have to invest only, for example, in the medical space, except it is of interest to you. You don't have to invest only in the banks. You can combine the banks with the CMGs, you combine them, FMCGs, you combine it with tech companies, you can do a combo of everything. So diversification. Your money is not at risk of being in one place. The next benefit is you hedge against inflation. A lot of people ask me every time, the cost of living is so high, where do I put my money so I can get real value or protect it against inflation? You can have the stock market, real estate, though they are long term. But really, the stock market is a very solid, is a proven, let me use that word, is a proven hedge against inflation. So if you want 20% return, 30%, 40% per annum, please, you can get it on the stock market. It may not be consistent, but it is possible. And then liquidity. So one of the benefits of the stock exchange, what they've put in place is that the stock of, assuming that I bought the stock of a bank, maybe Zenith, And then Grace bought the stock of Zenith as well, or Grace is interested right now as I'm teaching. She just wants to buy the stock of Zenith. So she can come to the stock market and buy. I can also go there and sell my stock. So there is an ongoing daily transaction. The examples I'm going to show you, you're going to see their values as are today, because trading is ongoing. Another thing is income. Dividends is a very good way of earning income. You put your money somewhere, and then they're sending you returns for you not being involved really. The owners of the business, because you gave them your money, they are just working hard to make sure that they can return dividends to their customers year on year. Some people do quarterly, some do biannual, and some do annually. So you can get dividend on your stock. And before you say that dividend is always small, the dividend they used to send me those days, it was just 15 naira I would see, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's the quantity of stock you bought. I'm going to show you example of people who have huge investments in stock and what their values are as of today. So it is the value of stock you bought. All you need to do is to keep adding to what you bought. And I remember a customer I had at the bank that time. Every time I went to pick his dividend, it was in millions actually. So he opened this particular current account, because then they used to send them as checks. He opened a particular current account, and I was the account officer. I will go in and pick 3 million. I'll go in and pick 5 million from dividends, not his capital. Don't forget, if you look down the list, you see capital growth. That's aside the capital growth. Do you know that normally if you invest, if you are getting your interest monthly, that's your interest already. And then what they give you at the end of the day is just capital. But with the stock market, your capital will grow, and then you will be earning dividends. So there is a lot of benefits with investing in stocks. Long-term savings or retirement. You have 10 years ahead of you. So you have 20 years ahead of you. If you have 30 years to retirement, good for you. Why? Because the stock exchange or the stock market provides you a platform for long-term investment, where you have good return at the end of the day. No matter what, you get a good return. Because these platforms are well managed. Now, there are other stock exchanges in different countries of the world, but the Nigeria Stock Exchange, for example, is well managed. The New York Stock Exchange is solidly managed. So all of these organizations, they provide you the platform to get long-term savings from your investments and then attractive returns. The stock market has outpaced other investment options over the long term. Talk about them. Maybe the only one that could be competing is real estate. Even when people do hedge funds, it's based on stock. Hedge funds is just a higher risk version of stock. People are really, they are shorting stocks, they are doing all sorts of things. So the stock market is a very juicy place to enjoy attractive returns. And then we have compound growth. Your money keeps rolling over. So you put in 50,000, but the capital has grown. The value of that share has increased. So your 50,000 is 100,000 now. So what you are returning back is 100,000. The next year, maybe it's 200,000. The next year, so there's compounding growth. There are some people who can also reinvest their dividends. Every time they give you dividends, you buy, even if it's 1 unit of that stock, you buy another one. So compound growth. And then finance. When you're constantly investing in the stock markets, you have money, you have finance. You can reach your financial goals. If you say, I am 10 million naira rich by so time, you have the finance. So that's one of the things that it provides for you. Just a moment, please. Okay, so sorry about that. And then ownership. When you buy the stock of Affluence, for example, you own part of Affluence, and that's a major one. Because I've seen people that bought shares of companies over a long time. When you look at letterheads of banks, for example, you're going to see under the letterhead the list of directors, both executive and non-executive. Non-executive directors mostly are shareholders who have vested interest in those companies because they put in their money over time. So every single share you buy of a company, you own part of it. And then tax-free profits. Your capital gains are not taxed. What do I mean? If your money grows from 50K to 200,000, they don't tax you on that. They tax you only on dividend because it's for productive activity of doing business. That's how they gave you that for profits. That's why they gave you the dividend. They tax you only on dividend. But your original money is not taxed. So the real value, or even better value, is preserved. And then flexibility. Now, because not everybody may want to go on the stock market and be buying. Organizations, we call them asset management firms, have mutual funds. They have, even on the stock market, you have ETFs, exchange traded funds. You have all sorts of packaged portfolios that you can put in your money to. For example, if you look at, I'm sure you know about what they call it now, SP 500. You've heard about SP 500. Those are top 500 companies that are in that is a portfolio. You can decide to invest in it. It's a mutual fund of top 500 stocks on the market every time. So they have groups of it that you can be part of. So it gives you flexibility in terms of options that you can put your money into. So having said that, please give me a thumbs up if we're together. Thank you. All right, so let's look at a few. Did I skip a slide? Okay, I didn't. Good. So let's look at some case studies of people who have invested in stock and they're billionaires just because of their stock. Benga Oyebode. If you read, he's one of the founding partners and chairman, management board, and of the law firm, Oyebode Law Firm. So he's the owner. He's also the chairman at Okomu Oil PLC and a member of the directors of several publicly quoted and private companies in Nigeria. Now he owns this unit, 35.94 million units of shares. Don't look at the number yet. You need to look at how it begins. You can own this same Okomu shares now by going there and buying one share. As at this time of this report, 2021, it was 99. You can go and buy. 5,000 naira will get you some units, and nobody will stop you from buying on the stock market. Interestingly, I'm going to talk about the ways you can invest later on. But apps have made it very easy. From the comfort of my phone now, I can buy Netflix, I can buy Apple, I can buy any stock in any part of the world. So we really don't have excuse not to be part of this thing. So I just want to, I'm showing you these case studies for a reason. I want you to see how the stock market is making people wealthy. 5.7 million indirectly. That means he's using a third party to own those ones. So his stake, and that stake alone is just 4.37%. It's not 50%. It's not 100% stake. That's why companies allow other investors to come on board and they give them shares and all those things. But as much as possible, every founder keeps a portion. That's to tell you, he's the owner of the company. He started it, but he's not the full owner alone because that stock, that company is listed on the stock exchange. So all of us own it if you have a share of it. Yet he has a very major share in the company, 35.94 million units. And today he's a billionaire just from the stock of one organization. Olakunle Alake. He was the MD of Dangote as at 2022. There's a new person now in 2023, from 2023. But he's also, I also want you to take note that all of them have shares in the companies where they worked and where they work. They get on the board. They want to own part of it. Why? Because it's a gateway to wealth and it's an opportunity to grow financially. So he didn't leave as GMG and then leave the company. No, he still has 8 million direct units of shares, 7.19 million units of shares in Dangote, totaling 1.84 million. As at 2021, when this report was put out. We have Miss Ifeoma Esiri. She's on Stanbic IBTC board, and she bought shares. Interestingly, she's a non-executive director, and she started by buying shares into the organization. And today, look at what she has, 34.62 million units. A lot of people don't know that the stock market is a place to create wealth. It's a place to create wealth. It's a very good place to create wealth. Most top billionaires, and I deliberately removed the $10 and the codes and brought names that you might not be familiar with, who are just board members of companies and they own shares in the company. So if you get an opportunity to invest in any company that they are giving you shareholding, you need to go for it. But first of all, make sure that there's good corporate structure, good management team before you put your money into that. Even without the stock market, being a shareholder in a company is a great opportunity to create wealth. So, and then she owns 34.62 million units of shares. Worth, as at 2021, their Stanbic IBTC was 51 naira. The good thing is that we all can still buy it. You know, we're not in Nigeria, we're not in the US where their stock price, like Apple stock price, you can't even go near Hathaway, you can't go near all those stocks because they are very expensive. These ones are quite affordable. Let me show you another one. Adora was the deputy managing director of Zenith. She's no longer there as of last year. And I mean, she owns 68.87 million. Why are they putting so much money into it? Why are they interested? Some of this may have come from employee stock options and all that, and because of their management position. But why is everybody interested in it? She's a billionaire. Just Zenith Bank stock, she's a billionaire. Just the stock of one company. Roger Brand, who is not a Nigerian, just worked in Nigeria in a company in a company in Nigeria, and look what he has today. Seplat is international anyway, but he has shares, 2.84 units of it. His portion is just very small, but the worth of the shares is 1.56 billion. I'm sure you've noticed again the viability of the businesses you put your money into. Because of the good, how do I put it, the viability of those businesses, their money has value. He has just 0.4% shareholding, not even up to 1% of the company, and he's a billionaire. So let me quickly talk about the Nigeria Exchange Group. They used to be called the Nigerian Stock Exchange. I'm sure we've all heard of them. And now we have the Nigerian Exchange Group. Basically, as we speak, as of today, this report was from 4th of March. As at 4th of March, Business Day had it in the news that Nigerian Stock Exchange is now the best in the world. It used to be Argentina, but they overtook Argentina in a foolish round. And as we speak, they are still the world best in terms of return on investment, in terms of results and achievements, right? So we have a gold mine with us here in the country that we all can harness and take opportunity of. This is their financial report. I mean, as a limited company, they have 5.2 billion, and they're also giving out dividends. So they are getting good return for their own shareholders as well. So I said that so that you can be comfortable with what I'm about to show you of the Nigerian stock market. I have to tell you, we are in a country where we have the best of it, and a lot of us are still not playing in this space, right? So let's look at MTN. There's something I wanted to show us, MTN in particular. What's the moment, please? Okay, so MTN. So this report I did is just for 1 month, so you can have a more recent report. You can see it's from February 13th to March 13th, 1 month. So this is what MTN looks like today. This first column is price, where you have price. You can see the percentage changes from the end to the last. Forget about the volume and all of that. But let's focus on the prices and then the change in percentages. Can you see the screen very clearly? Okay. I can't hear us, but I saw Emmanuel last month say yes.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay. Thank you. So, as of today, you can see the date there is 13th is 250 naira MTN. MTN listed last year, I think. Yes. That's okay, 2021, I suppose. So in 2020, 2019, 2 years ago, so they listed at 90 naira. 90 naira. Imagine if you bought it then. Would you be doing badly? The answer is no. Your money would have appreciated in value. You would have earned dividends from them. So if you're talking about top stocks to invest your money into, MTN will be one. Now, has it maxed out its capacity? No. How do I know? It was once 275. It can still get to 275. So even if you buy at 250, you will still be making a good investment, because if you give it some time, that share will go to 275 and even more. So looking at just this portion of the reporting, I can tell that this is a very good stock to buy. Does it have risk? Yes. Can you lose your money? Oh yeah. If you buy at 250 today, and you can see it as, I just don't have that portion of the report where it showed the lowest it's ever been. I would have loved to have that. If I see 183 here, for example, for this month of March, is the lowest they've done. And if I buy at 250 and it drops to 183, I would have lost money. But does it mean I should sell out those stocks? No. What am I supposed to do? You wait it out so that it can go back up, because it will. There will be times when it will go back up. There will be times when it will come down. The bottom line is, once the business is viable, the long-term plan is clear, it's a good pick for investing. So MTN is still a good pick for you to invest in. Within a month, you can see they were at 275. They dropped a lot, and now they are going back up. If you invest now, you're likely to make 25 naira soon on each share that you buy. So, and you can see the number of, if you look here, people are buying these shares every day. While we were sitting on the fence, looking at things happening, people are buying the shares. Look at 1.42 million trade. People are trading them every time, just within a month. So we need to start considering all this stuff. Geregu Power. Geregu Power is, I mean, you know that the generating arm of power is privatized. So Geregu Power is one of the very few power companies to be listed. Recently, Transport Power just joined in, and they've done so well so far. In the last 1 month, if you look at 13th of February, they went from 721 to 900 as we speak today. Now they got to 1,000. But if you look at the growth, it's been fairly consistent. I don't know why I don't have that report where you have the average of it so far. But in any case, you can always be sure that, and if I keep putting money in, I mean, it's the power sector in Nigeria. If you look at it alone, if the companies, and for you to have, what do I call it? For you to have been given the license to buy up a power company in a country like Nigeria, it means you know your onions too a little bit. For them to have qualified to be listed, I think they are one of the first. They might be the first company to be listed. For them to have qualified to be listed, it means that they know something. So the future of this company is sure. Reasonably. Is it 100% proof? No. Again, I say it, the stock market is high risk. But are we just going to sit there and not take this risk? Why other people are getting all the money? We're going to have to take the risk. So are we to start investing in this kind of investment with your fallback savings? No. But maybe 100,000 that you can lose. Another 200,000 you can lose. That's what we need to do, even though the rule in investing is you shouldn't lose money. And that's part of why we're having this session, so that we can take a critical look at some of these stock before putting money into them. But the stock market is a place we have to start looking at seriously, seriously. So as of today, Geroku is 900. Again, if you buy it at 900, the likelihood that it will go back to 1,000 is there. How long, I may not be able to tell. But if it had changed within a month, maybe next month, you already have 100 Naira growth on your stock. Even if it doesn't grow beyond 900 Naira in a year, the company has potential and is likely to grow. So please don't forget, if you have questions, use the Q&A tag and put it on the group. The next one I want to show us is Zenith Bank. So the banking sector has actually been the major strength of the Nigerian stock exchange or the Nigerian exchange group. Banking sector holds it solidly. So this is not a bad idea to put some of your monies in the banking sector. Now, if you look at what we saw earlier with MTN, they're still having sale of maybe 1.something million. Look at Zenith Bank, 30 million. I think the highest share is 30 million volume of transactions on a company in one day. So people are buying, people are buying, people are buying. Some are selling, some are buying. It works both ways. So we need to start looking at this space. Again, look at Zenith now. These are companies that in 2020, during the COVID, they were 10 Naira. Zenith was 7 Naira also. It was 30 something. It dropped to about 7 Naira also. GT maybe 10 Naira. Look at them today. So we need to start looking seriously at the stock exchange if we're going to grow well. So 39 Naira as we speak today. Does it have potential to go up? Yes, it does. Even though it looks like Zenith has been in that range for a long time. So what can we do? Maybe monitor a bit to see when it drops a little, or watch it for another month because it's growing now. So let's see what will happen tomorrow, next, maybe another week, and then you can consider putting some money there. Why? Again, it's one of the top five banks in the country. We have the FUGAs, which is First Bank, UBA, Guaranteed Trust Bank, Access Bank, and then Zenith Bank. So it's in the top 5. It's a good investment to consider. One more time, it's all high risk because it fluctuates a lot and is unstable. So when it drops, like during COVID now, if you were too afraid, you would have sold at a loss because you'd be selling what you bought at 20-something Naira. When they came out and said it was 10 Naira 90 the first time they sold shares. So you would be selling what you bought for 10 Naira 90, regardless of when you buy it, for 7 Naira during COVID, if you had sold in a hurry. But those who waited this long have reaped the benefit of it. And you can sell off and buy another stock. You can sell a portion and buy another one. These apps have really made stock trading very easy today. Transcorp, this is a normal Transcorp Nigeria Limited. This is their share price today. I believe they also have potential. It's not easy to get listed in the stock market. And when you do, and you're able to maintain a range of price consistently, you are looking good. Look at the trade on them, 300 and something million. So it means that this company is quite active in the stock market. And you can consider, look at their lowest here is 12. And today it is 16. So if you had bought just last month, 13th of February, already you have 6 Naira, 4 Naira extra on your investment. And that's why the stock market is one of the places you can beat inflation successfully. GTCO, this is the favorite stock, bank stock that you can buy, right? Is 44 Naira as we speak. It's had its low, and you can see the range is actually almost the same. And then now it has shot up. It keeps going higher. So we need to start looking at stocks like this. It's one of the stocks that I recommend for you to buy if you're interested in the stock market. As of today, it is 44 Naira, traded at 44. This is World Foods. guess what? The food sector will never go down. During COVID, people were eating. Delivery companies were allowed to run. Eateries were allowed to cook. They were allowed to operate because people will always eat. They did a research sometime and they found out that people spend the most of their money. So the food industry will always be viable. So it's a good place to put your money. Now, just in February, it was 299. As we speak, it's 342. Even though they've had a very high figure of 379, and it dropped to 342. But 342 is still a good price, particularly if you bought at 299. So I'm using this February because some of us are still going to stay on the fence now and say, I'm not sure it's high now, let me wait or something. What if it goes high back to 379? Even if it's 357, you buy 342, it goes back to 357. You've earned money on your money. So we need to look critically at the food industry as well. We have United Capital. This is an investment company. Their share price is quite good. It's in the financial space. They've had a stable rate consistently. And while you are there sitting on the fence, look at how many millions of people are trading on them. So no more waiting, no more sitting on the fence. People are making money here. It's time for us to also get into the space. UBA, 26 naira. Not a bad price. The banking sector in Nigeria right now is very solid. So it's by the way, on the stock market per day, the highest growth a company can have is 10%. So if you don't see anything higher than 10%, it's because it is pegged at 10%. They don't allow it to go higher. So there's no internal manipulation of some sort. But UBA has grown very well consistently. In fact, for UBA, it's been, if you bought at 23, you would have earned 3 naira, and it's grown consistently. Flour mills, again, food. These companies are always moving food in flour in trucks. What day was it? I was looking at the report of flour mills. I can't remember the figure. I was shocked. Their turnover or something, maybe their financials. I was shocked at the return on flour. I'm like, oh, it's not direct food. How come people are eating flour this much? Well, really, people do. All our cakes, all our bakings, everything is flour. So they can, trust me, they're not going anywhere. They can only keep doing better. So this is 35 naira today. It dropped from 40 naira at the beginning of the month we're looking at to 35 naira. It's going back up, right? From that time, it's been going back up. Apart from when it was 35 and came to 34, it's consistently going back up to 35. So it might just be, and guess what? If we do, let me even just do 20,000. 20,000 divided by 35 naira. You have 569 units of flour mill. Can you guys hear me? It felt like my screen.
Yes, ma, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So you have 569 units just with 20,000. Imagine you're now putting 20,000 every month times 12, please. You have 6,000 units, 837 units of these flour mills. Now, times it by, let's say you decide to do 50,000 instead. Divide by 50,000. Divide by 35. You already have 1,424 units. Now, times it by 12 in 1 year. 17,000 units of flour mills. So trust me, getting to the millions is possible. Let me divide 17,000 units. 1 million units. Divide by 17,000. Okay, you just need to do that repeatedly 57 times for you to get to 1 million. So it's time for us to get to do this. And then imagine you can do 100,000. Imagine you can do 1. Imagine you can do 2 million. You're creating wealth gradually. The next one was cement. The price of cement, you know what it's saying now. For cement is 126 naira. So I've shown you different industries because it gives you the opportunity to diversify. This is a newly listed Transcorp Power. Transcorp Power, they just listed it. They listed 40 million units, and it's so, of course, sold out since it's sharply 264 naira. They gained 10% by the next day. You see the date, 4th of March. By the next day, they are traded over double what they listed, the volume, right? And then that volume, they maxed out their growth. They got their 10% by the next day. And they maintained it, that 9.99%. Can we see that? The change in percentage, 9.99, 9.9 now, system. And then they didn't have any change. I don't know what here that they don't have change, but look at the levels. 4.9% growth over what was there in the price. The quantity people are buying has reduced, but the price keeps going up. For God's sake, it was just 264 naira 2 weeks ago. What am I saying? What am I saying 2 weeks ago? 1 week ago. Just 9 days ago. 264 naira. So if you invested at all, let me do a bit of maths for us here. So we have 377.8 minus 264. Divide by 377 times. So in just 1 week, 9 days, people have had 30% growth on their money. Now, 30% growth on your 100,000 may look small to you, but that's 30,000 on 100,000 in 9 days. And then imagine those people who put 2 million. Imagine the people who put 100 million. 30% growth on 100 million is 130 million in 9 days. So we really need to start digging in here. This country just listed, so it's a good time to buy. It's a good time to buy because their prospect is very good. Dangote Sugar. You know, a lot of times we wait on the fence and say, what if the company dies? But they've been here since, so they've not died. Why is it the time that you want to invest and they will die? They won't die. With prayer and fasting, we won't allow them to die. But don't sit on the fence making excuses. That's why I say the money you can take risk on, it's time to get started. Just think 5 years time. Even if you lose the 100,000, you put another one till you can get it right. Dangote Sugar. I remember when Dangote Sugar listed. I bought it then. I can't remember how many units I bought. I need to even go and check all those things. They were oversubscribed. They returned people's money. 1 unit then, maybe 6 naira or so. I can't remember. But it wasn't up to 10 naira. That's stock. Look at it today, 58. In fact, they have a very high rate figure price here of 72 naira. So trust me, this 58 is a good time to buy because they will go back to 72. They're going back to 72 and maybe higher. So people eat sugar a lot. All this flour that people buy, they need sugar for it. Dangote cement, look at it. 618. I'm sure it's because of the recent economic issue that was affecting their prices and all. Because people weren't buying as much as they should. You're not making sales revenue as a company. Those are things that determine the value of your stock in the market. If the business is facing challenges in real life, it will reflect on the stock. So I'm sure that's why this happened. So this might be a good time to buy because they did 763. And I've not looked at a long history. This is 1 month. So how do you get started on the stock market? Now, these are not, I didn't put them in terms of hierarchy. And this doesn't constitute that you should just jump in, say, MoneyWise has advised you and says you should go. No. Before you get in, if you need advice, I'm going to check first of all that you have a fallback. We will check all those things. So advisory is not just webinars. So don't just jump in blindly and because you want to make 30% in 99 days. No. Where are you financially? That's what will determine whether you should invest or not. That's what we will determine if you're ready for the stock market or not. But that we will not take this risk. No, we have to step into that space, especially women here. It's said that women are risk averse and blah, 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 blah. No, we have to go for big things. We have to start investing. If you are young, why not start now? Let's take this risk. Let's take the risk. Yeah, let's take it. Because people are taking the risk. People like Adora, people like the people I showed you earlier, and they are billionaires just from one stock, one company stock. Imagine you have a portfolio of it. Imagine that you start investing and you come to the consciousness that, wow, I can partner with this business right now and be a shareholder and maintain my shareholding, ensure that the business is well structured and we're growing gradually to be listed. And I will be a major shareholder in them, like all these people did. If they did not take risks on this company, those companies will not be on the stock market today. So your risk can be calculated and it can be well worth it at the end of the day. So either you get a stockbroker, that's how you can start. Stockbroker, all you need to do is just go to the Nigerian Stock Exchange platform and get the list of accredited stockbrokers. I can also direct if you want, and then open an account with them. But I have a simpler method, which is the apps. I recommend Merrytrade. Merrytrade is the app. Merrytrade as a company exists. Then they have Merrystep, as a company exists. Then their app for trading in stocks and buying and selling stock is called Merrytrade. I've shared it with us before if you've been following. You can invest through that platform. That app, for example, they give you your CSCS account instead of all those manual process. They give you your CSCS account and then you go on to open the account, you submit, they verify all your documents, and you can start trading from the comfort of your phone. Amazing. I wish I could show us my platform. You can start trading. Now, for those of us who already have shares from old times, and you're wondering how you can move it to that platform, very possible. It may take you a bit of work, but you can do it. Just visit your, what do they call them? Custodian of the shares. Maybe if you bought Zenny shares, you're not going to go to Zenny Bank, you're going to go to Veritas. Those are the people who are custodians of that particular stock. So you go to them and you document everything, get your CSCS account, and then they transfer everything to. Once you have the CSCS, you can be on Merrystep as well. So there's a process for it that can guide us as well if you're interested. Now, at this point, I want to encourage you to join our community platform. Please, can someone put up the link on the platform? You can join the platform. Okay, they're already doing that. You can join the platform and then, let me see, we're at Q&A now. So I'm going to just stop sharing my screen. So you can join the platform because the next webinar is going to hold on that platform. And you have to be a member to partake, not paid membership. This platform, we created it deliberately for things like this. Why? Because it's a lot easier to coordinate. So you can get automated emails. Imagine we had to send you texts one after the other. If we were 1,000, we couldn't have done that. We couldn't have achieved that in the short time that we discovered that we couldn't use that platform today. So next month, we're going to use that platform. You get reminders automated and everything. Plus, on the platform, you have the free membership. You don't have to pay anything. You can take the courses for free. We have video courses there that you can take for free to keep your financial literacy on board. So please just click the link that you have there. And then how can we get to review our financial stand? Oh, please feel free to book your session with us. Someone has responded to you. How can one buy the Transcorp Power shares? So I'm sure you have your answer now, Tiwa. Is she here? Okay. But basically, how do you start to buy any shares? Not only transfer. Just go meet a stockbroker or download Merry Trade app from your app store and register. Set up your account, and voila, you can buy any stock. Now, let me issue a disclaimer. Don't just jump in there and be buying stock on your own. Make sure you have the support and advice of an investor or your financial advisor, someone who has the experience and someone who knows what's going on. They have, why do I say that? There's a time of the year, for example, where we can call and say, oh, please sell that stock now, hold cash, because the market is not good. Just keep cash. And then when it's good or when it's cheap, things are down or so, you go in and buy. So the advisor guides you on how you can invest. So please, you need to make sure that you're properly guided to achieve that. So either you go through a stockbroker, you can walk into any office of a stockbroking firm listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. There's a list of them there, accredited ones, and then open an account with them. They help you. Now, please note that when you open with either a stockbroker or Merry System, which is through the Merry Trade app, they have commissions they take, but the commission is on your profit. Is not on the capital that you gave them. On the profit, if you make profit, you share. If there's no profit, they don't get any. That's how they work. So that's how you can buy this very simple. Okay, so I don't know if there are questions before I go. So you're a member, yes, I know you, Joseph. You're a registered member of the community. So you're going to keep getting notifications and all via that platform as we go on. Please, do we have any questions before I round this off? The replay is going to be up if you need to listen to it. But most importantly, don't just get inspired today. Take action on this inspiration. Go and buy stocks. Go and buy stocks. You can pick a portfolio. Another way you can buy stock, I forgot to put that there, is through mutual funds, right? I mentioned mutual funds at the beginning. Now, mutual funds you can buy through asset management firms like Stanbic, IBTC, like Imagine Africa Capital. Any licensed asset management firm, you can buy mutual funds with them. What is mutual funds? Mutual funds just allows you to pool funds together, to buy together. It diversifies a lot because they buy, there's a regulatory requirement for how they should spend the money they are collecting. Because it's like crowdfunding it, and then they are the go-between and they make a profit. So there's a regulatory requirement. That's why they have custodians, they have people who are executors of their packages and all of that. That requirement mandates them to secure a portion of the money and take risk on the order. So mutual funds provide you a portfolio. They can do 100 industries in mutual funds. So the risk is diverse. If you look at during COVID, the medical space didn't really drop because they were thriving at the time. This platform we're using, they boomed the more during COVID. So they didn't really feel the impact. Instead, it impacted them positively, right? So such industries, people get the platform, the stock exchange provides you a platform to, the mutual funds provide you a platform to buy into a multiple portfolio at a cheap price. You can start to just $5 if that's what you have. But I recommend that you should do, how much will it cost to book a session? Yes, please, someone, maybe you should chat the office line. There's the one to book a session. Okay, you're putting in the wrong price. This for the community, paid community. Chat to the person privately. But if you visit MoneyWise, put MoneyWise platform there. You can go to MoneyWise platform. You see all the coaching prices there. This is a community price that she's giving you. All right, so if there's no other question, please, can we get the replay? Yes, you will get the replay. Definitely, yes. So the paid community, for example, if you join the free community, you will be part of our webinars once in a while, like that. If you, there are webinars that will be tailored strictly to those who are paid members, either annual or quarterly, depending on what we're doing with different class of people per time. But that's what the platform affords us. the opportunity to be able to serve everybody differently and, meet everybody. So this is why we're moving to that part. So please go ahead and subscribe. You have free courses. We made all the courses for free so that you can keep your learning ongoing and grow financially in 2024. So in the absence of any other questions, please, can you put the office line up in case anybody wants to get personal guidance or personal inquiries? I don't want us to stay long here. We've done an hour already on the session. Thank you so much, everyone. It looks like we understood everything, no questions. Which is fine. Thank you so much. Can we put the phone number up? Okay, so kindly send a message. All right, so the WhatsApp number is there. You can book all your sessions. Thank you very much for your time. Please let us know in the feedback if this was very helpful to you. And then when you're ready to take action, let us know. We can also provide guidance in that area. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Auntie Tony, thank you.
Thank you too.